All right, good evening, guys. This is Lefinan, Lefinan. I am coming to you in order to give you basically a how to play this game and be successful at it, because nobody wants to play a game and absolutely be, horrible or suck at it, or they spend money that they didn't want to and then they realize later on like, oh my gosh, this is horrible. So I'm going to walk you guys through in different videos exactly what you need to know, what I've been able to learn, and how exactly I can help you out with this. I'm not in this for the money or anything. This is more like to help you guys out. So that's the reason why I'm doing these. All right, very first thing that we're going to go over is the sales. So first thing that you see whenever you get into your game is going to be to where they have your sales that will pop up. And this will be everything from like the limited ones that, supposedly has a limited amount of times that you can buy them or whatever, all the way to the ones to where, it's like it's always there. Okay, so very first thing that you need to understand about this game. This game is completely built around how much money are you willing to spend. Pretty much it. So I have it to where like I basically have been able to identify like 3 different groups of players. And this pretty much holds true to what exactly your, ideal like aspect to the game is. Like, how serious do you want to be? How much do you want to play it? Like, how many hours are you going to put into it? That all will dictate what exactly you are going to spend on this game, because you can play it for free. And I have seen people play it for free and they're progressing, but very, very slowly and everything. And I'm going to show you guys how to do it in different ways. So we will look at the sales first, because it's the very first thing that you see when you get on into it. I'm going to show you what you need, what you don't need. And then, in subsequent videos or the videos after that, then we'll look at the other different parts of what exactly you should be buying or should be doing or should be battling, how exactly you do all that type of thing. All right, so the very first one that you look at is called limited. That's a category that basically pops up first. And the limited usually pertains to the actual event that is going on at this current time. So right now on my main account, it has it to where it is Arachne Swarm, and then we also have a Bazaar, and then there's also this thing that I've gotten through Triumphal where you get this clan chest sale. So that's the reason why that's popping up. But Arachne Swarm is the big event that's going on right now. If you're a player that wants to play in a small amount, very, very cheap and all this other kind of stuff, you need to ignore this screen completely. Never, ever, ever buy any of these sales, because you're going to go down a rabbit hole that you will never come out of. So I would highly suggest that anybody that's trying to play for basically for free, whenever you see this, just ignore it. Go through and just click X. I don't want it. They might pop up with another sale. Just click X. I don't want it. And get to your actual city. Now, granted, my city is very developed and all that kind of stuff, so you will see higher numbers when it comes down to the buildings and everything. But if you're first starting out, this city is going to be completely empty. So you will see absolutely no buildings, no nothing inside of it. And you'll notice on the computer game, they put your army up here, but then when you play on your phone, they have a little side wall that's over here, off to the right-hand side. And then that little side wall has your army basically in this grass area or whatnot. So I'm going to try and like have it to where like if I'm trying to show you something specifically, I'm going to move the camera around. So if you get like vertigo or whatever, I do apologize. All right. Now, for those of you that want to play to where you're spending a little bit of money, this is players that they want to progress in the game, but they're not really the most competitive people in the world. They like, battling. They like having fun with it, but they're not like, oh, I'm better. Oh, I'm better. Oh, I'm better. And they're like out there, measuring stuff or whatever. Like, oh, my car is bigger than your car or whatever. Yeah, no. So the next group is basically the people that want to play for fun, but they are willing to spend a little, and I'm going to show you exactly how to do this in a way that's not going to make you get divorced or broken up with your significant other. Because gosh knows that, like, if you have a significant other that's really tight-lipped or, tightwad when it comes down to money, you're going to be in trouble. So here's how we can go through and spend money. First off, ignore the first screen. When all those sales are popping up, you should ignore them. This screen is for the people that want to spend a lot of money and be super competitive. That's the best way to go through and tell you. Here's how you can do it on a budget. So the very first thing is, after you get into the game, there's this one sale that I highly recommend to everybody. It's basically like a bare minimum. I'm willing to play the game, but I'm only going to spend let's say $30 a month. And that's not that bad, because if you think about the amount of hours that you're putting into it, $30 or €25 a month is not bad. And that's, basically like something you could set aside a little bit of money for. Hey, I'm not going to go out to eat that one time at this restaurant. Maybe I cancel one date night, whatever. So here's the sale that I would recommend to everybody. When you look at the game, there is this event aspect that's off to the side. So I'm going to try and zoom in a little bit so you guys can see this. Sorry, not that much. Oh gosh. Anyways, here it is on the left-hand side. If you can follow my cursor, if I can even follow my cursor, there it is right there. All right, so we're going to click on this, and this shows the different, events that are going on right now. So this is the one that if you're spending just a little bit of money and you want to be, decent in the game, but, you'll gradually, get there over time. There are players that have been playing this for 6 months, a year, 2 years, whatever. And granted, I've only been playing this 6 weeks, but there are some things that are just blatantly obvious from the very beginning. Okay, Triumphal Challenge has 3 different levels. The first level is free. So if you are any kind of player, whether or not you're the people that are really going for it, or the people that want to do it on a budget, or the people that want to just do this for free, the Triumphal Challenge or sales or anything, this individual event is basically the best that you could spend your money on. Every person that I've come into contact on here, I've gone through and recommended this to them. I'm like, this is the way to go. So here's how you do it on a budget. There's this one row or column. If you're playing on a phone, it will be a column. And it's called the Golden Column, the Golden Pass. That is the one that you need to buy. It costs, I think it's $30 every month. It goes for 30 days. As you can see, we only have 1 day left on this individual, set of 30 or whatever. So it doesn't exactly follow the calendar month, as far as February just started, new Triumphal. No, it's 30 days at a time. So it will fluctuate as to what date of the month or whatever. Now, if you're looking at Golden, what it does on the free is it'll give you prizes that are actually really good. And as you can see, there's 80 different slots. It starts all the way back at the very beginning with slot 0, so it's technically actually 81. But in the free version, they'll give you something let's say it's 500,000 lumber. And then they'll turn around on the Golden and they'll be we'll give you 2 million lumber. And then you go on over to the Elite column and everything, for those of you that buy the Elite, and you're getting basically 8 million lumber. It is usually a ×4 aspect. Sometimes it's ×2, sometimes it's ×4. It's usually ×4. But this is something to where you can easily afford this, and it goes through and really, really helps you out. So Golden Pass is the best way to progress in the game. And in the Triumphal, they give you all different kinds of stuff. They give you mercenaries, which we'll get into those later. They also give you building supplies. They'll give you silver. They'll give you everything that you really need in order to actually play this game. You don't need a ton in this game. Granted, there's a ton of different things that you could use, but when it comes down to it, there are only a few different things that are really, really essential. And we're going to go over those. So if you're playing on a budget, I would highly recommend Golden. Now, this next part is going to be for those people that really want to compete in the game at a higher level. I am a person that I like to basically start a game, blitz the living hell out of it, and try my very best And then I get to a point to where I'm like, you know what, I'm good. And then I can sit back and just build. And I'm going to do it through hard work. I'm not going to try and buy my way to the very top, because no matter what you may try, there is always somebody with a deeper pocket than you, or bigger bank account, or better credit card, or whatever. And you are not going to get in a spending contest and come out of this in a good way. Like, I think I've spent, if I'm being honest, probably around $4,000 to $5,000 on this game so far. Now, I have also grown in a way that only five other people in my kingdom can actually compete with me. And, there are two people above me or whatever, but it's to where, like, we are all people that are, I don't want to be down, getting beat up. I want to be at the top echelon and everything. And it's completely a measuring contest. So if you're doing that, then you definitely need the elite level. This way you have all three columns or all three rows, depending upon whether or not you're playing on computer or on the phone. And when you're doing that, it's going to give you so much good stuff. This thing right here, if you're doing the elite also, and then you can also have it to where you get it with the seasonal part, because there's different missions that are considered seasonal. So, like, earn, a certain amount of Doomsday points, a certain amount of Arachne Swarm, points, like, there's different like epics that they go through and they highlight in these. Revive a certain amount of people by spending gold, that kind of stuff. And those are all different missions that you get basically these scrolls for. And whenever you get a scroll, then it gives you more points towards this. So see up here at the very top, and I'm going to move my tripod for this. See how it's got that, like, that bar in that level? I'm at level 338 right now, and I've gotten 10,170 points through the scrolls. That's a huge number. So this is one way that if you're going to be super competitive, it's the very absolute core essential. If you don't have this, you're not going to do very well, because you're going to spend lots of money in other ways. All right, the other thing for people that want to go through and really compete, I got to break down for you these different sales and what they are, what they do, and all this other kind of stuff. And even if you're somebody that is in that middle tier to where you're willing to spend a little bit of money, and then occasionally you might do a big package or whatever, then that's fine, but you got to watch out as far as what exactly you're going to do. So I'm going to show you some tricks in order to save some money, because gosh knows you have to spend money in order to learn your lesson, as far as like, oh yeah, I should have done this way as opposed to that way. If you never spent the money, then you probably are like, yeah, no, I never spent money. Okay, so here we go. First one. Every single day or every single time that they have a main event or whatever, which usually involves like some level epic monster or whatever, and in this case, it's Arachne. The epic monsters are ones that you are going to fight with your army and you're going to die. You're not going to beat an epic monster. Maybe there are players that are the top 2 in the world that might be able to take their full entire army with a whole lot of mercenaries and go up against an epic level monster and actually beat it. But for us common people and everything, get used to the fact that whenever you fight an epic level monster, you will fight and you will die. So do not take anything into an epic level monster that you do not want to lose. Now, the other thing is you can revive troops, but it is costly, and you lose 10% of your troops every single time. And when they get revived, they're only being revived for 7 days, and then after that, they disappear. So Arachne Swarm, they're going to give you these huge amount of mercenaries. Now, I will go through and tell you what exactly these numbers mean. The numbers in the upper left-hand corner of the mercenaries basically tell you what level they are at. So you have guardsmen that you can go through and level up from level 1 all the way to level 9. When it has a 2 here, that is the equivalent of a level 8. So if I'm, right now I'm a level 6 guardsman. I've gone through and progressed pretty well. The mercenaries will be 2 levels above what you are currently at. So if I'm at 6, they will be at 8, otherwise known as green 2. If you're at 5, it's going to be yellow 7. That's the way that they number these. So these are a really high level. And you can also notice if you're a lower level player that the amount of mercenaries are much, much greater when you get further up. They're going to give you more powerful people and a heck of a lot more of them. That's the way that these work. The other thing is these ×2 sales. These are the best ones, and I'm going to tell you why. Everything in this game revolves around fighting ability and also gold. If you have gold, then you are able to pretty much do whatever the heck it is that you want in this game. You can buy like different, stuff with it. You can go through and have it to where you revive your troops with it. You could go through and, build buildings with it, all this other kind of stuff. It is really, really important to have gold in this game. But gold gets spent so darn quickly, especially when you're fighting and dying, like I do all the time. So when you do a ×2 sale, what it's going to do is, like, let's say that I was to click on this and pay the $249. Then what it will do is it'll give me all the rewards for it, and it will show up at the very bottom of the screen down at the bottom, like, oh, you got this, oh, you got that, oh, you got that, oh, you got that, and all this other kind of stuff. But then it will put back up here in the limited section another sale that will be the exact same as this, but it will say value ×2 or 2 times value. And it will have this exact same group of people and all the different things, but there will be twice as many of each. So it will be 40,000 of this mercenary, 40,000, 40,000, 40,000. But the most important part, 2 million gold. So if you're a person that needs gold really, really badly, and you know that you're going to be doing a lot of fighting and dying and everything like that, a ×2 mercenary sale is awesome. Because then what you do is you have a ton of mercenaries. I will have 60,000 of this one, 60,000, 60,000, 60,000, plus I will have 3 million gold from it. Usually you spend $250 or 220 euro and you get 1 million gold. But in a ×2 sale, you basically are going to get the extra aspect of it. And it makes it so much more worth it. Pharaoh's Bazaar sales, anytime that you ever have a bazaar or whatever, they're really not worth it. I'll be honest with you. I don't particularly like them very much. The clan chests, they're kind of good. And by the way, whenever you look at these sales or whatever, you can always go through and scroll through them. If you're playing on your phone, then you have the ability to basically click the view all. And I'm going to break down exactly what each one of these does real quick so that this way you guys understand. This boot thing that says 14 days, for 14 days, your marches, because you have to march everywhere in this game, are going to be 50% faster for 14 days. So it's really good. They'll give you a free sale out of it. The free sale usually has it to where it's somewhere in this section, like resources. It will say like free. See that? And it's not bad. I mean, it gives you a smaller version. It gives you a little bit of speed ups, gives you a little bit of food, a little bit of everything. But it's to where, hey, it's free. So who's going to be complaining or whatever? Now, back to the featured aspects. So then when you're going through and looking at this, gold is basically everything. This is a speed up that allows you to accelerate the amount of time that you would have to wait in order to be able to build a building or upgrade it, or go through and do research in order to become better at something. So when you're looking at what exactly each one of these do, see how it has 2 arrows? For the 2 arrow ones, those are for you personally as far as speed up. If you have 4 arrows, that means that's for your clan. And those are like research that the clan is doing and you want to go through and help them and you speed it up. The clan will love you a whole heck of a lot. So please make sure that if you have these in your inventory, that you use them to help the clan. And by the way, clans are worth it to join. My next video is all about clans and everything. All right, so we have silver. The silver, you do need those in order to be able to buy armies. Very well worth it. As you get along in the game, you'll want to save up like basically all of your resources. Not like don't use them, but take a portion of each and put it aside. Kind of like, hey, I make $40,000 a year. I want to take $1,000 every single year and put it away, or 2,000 or whatever. Like, that's going to basically be your goal. Have it to where, like, hey, I know that I'm getting this amount per day. I want to go through in this game and save a certain amount for like a rainy day type of situation. And trust me, it will rain in this game. These things right here, which are the, like, kind of like it goes with the crown, is for the VIP part. VIP is very super important. This thing right here, because it allows you to speed up all of your different processes, because it helps with your army strength, it helps with your army health, it helps with your tar capacity, your tar production. It helps you out with pretty much everything in this game. The VIP aspect, it also speeds up your daily quests to have it to where you have daily jobs that you're supposed to be doing as part of ruling a kingdom, and it eliminates them for you. All you have to do is basically just show up and just hit claim. So instead of you having to like go make sure you do this and go make sure you do that and go make sure you do that, it takes away a good portion of them, like probably 50% of it. So these things are points that you can use to make sure that the VIP is even better. Whether or not it's your strength of your army goes from 1% better to 2% better, or you start to get it to where it's like 20 to 30% better. When you get higher up in VIP, it's very well worth it. This is your lumber. You, every single time that you get a certain like thing like this, it says 50,000 lumber, you get 6 of these. So the number down at the bottom right dictates how many you're getting of that individual thing. And then there's all these chests. These chests are basically materials that'll help you go through and build armor. And you'll notice those in your forge in order to be able to like go through and craft like different types of armor or whatever. And I'll show you what exactly that is. Okay, battle. Battle is the... Any of you that have ever like read a book or ever like, watched any, movies that have like mythic type of thing, it is so entirely cool as far as like some of the things that this game pulls in, like a guy holding a cannon and shooting it. That's awesome. Like a big, huge parrot that's going to go through and fly and like take out part of a castle or something like that. Demon or demonic salamanders, like finest guardsmen, big, huge guys that hold these big, huge pole axes or whatever. There is lots and lots of stuff in here that they take from different part of myth, different part of legend, and they just bring it on in. So these things are basically like a kid in a candy store type of thing for me. The final one in here that I really want to go through and highlight, because you guys can guess what, you guys can read what each merc does. That's not that difficult. This one over here is called Crush Your Enemies. This is an absolute must-have when you get to the point to where you start to kill like any kind of monsters. Because with this, it gives you double the amount of experience, double the amount of conquest, double the amount of valor. And then it also can increase your army strength, your army health, and different things like that. So this right here, it only costs $4.99. That's it. It's very, very cheap, but extremely well worth it. What I would recommend for most people is that when you first start the game, that you get this in order to be able to help you start like boosting through the levels. It's only $5, so why not, go through and do it. All right, next one, resources. There's a lot of different resources that you will have in the game. And in all honesty, what I would recommend is that you basically grab a whiteboard or a piece of paper or whatever, and you start to write down what it is that you're saving. So here's what I mean. I have a certain amount of stuff that I will not touch in my game, like whether or not it's dragon coins or revival, like potions or something else like that. I will not go below that limit because of the fact that I know at some point it's going to rain hard on this game. You're going to have it to where the entire kingdom is going to get invaded. Your entire clan gets destroyed. You guys have to rebuild from nothing. Then, yeah, you're going to need your raiding day fund. So I would highly recommend that basically you figure out what you want to set aside and keep that as a bare minimum on you at all times. And as your level goes up, so should the amount that you're setting aside. Because you might get to the point to where it's like somebody attacks you and you're really, really pissed off and everything, and you're like, oh, I'm gonna go get them, blah, blah, blah. And then you burn through your stuff that you usually would use and you have nothing left. You're gonna need that rainy day fund in order to go through and replenish your stock. So rainy day fund is a good idea. All right, revive your troops. Potions are used in order to revive troops. I would not recommend that you use these on guardsmen when you get further into the game. Initially, when you first start, yes, you need to use the potions because nobody has that much gold. And if you have that much gold, then you're spending a lot of money and everything, which I've done. So I can't exactly say that I'm, the exception to any of this or whatever. It's like, hypocrite. Oh, well. But when you're going through and doing these, a lot of times they'll have these ×2 sales, and those are really, really good. Like the one that I bought, before, and I really, really enjoyed it. And I'm not saying I'm ever going to use all of it, but this is the dragon coins in order to basically build a monster army. And it costs $250, but it has a ×2 part. So yes, I did spend $500 on dragon coins, because at some point I'm going to have a monster army that is going to smack my competition, and they're not going to know what hit them because they're going to be like, how in the world could he be so powerful? He was only this and now he's that. And yeah, you got to keep your enemies guessing, guys. All right, summoning scrolls. This is used in order to get captains of different kinds. So when you first start the game, you only have access to one captain, or like one hero. And then you get captains along the way. You get like 3 of them just by running into them, by even starting your city. And they're okay. The one that is best is called Ada and everything. But these summoning scrolls are used in order to get other captains. And there's everything from people that are good with archers, people that are good with spearmen, people that are good with flying, flying monsters. It's all different types. Some captains are better than others. And one of my other videos goes through exactly which captains you do and do not need and all this other kind of stuff. But you will want to make sure that you have summoning scrolls. I wouldn't suggest buying them like this. You get them as part of prizes and other stuff, that different type of epic monsters that you fight and die on. So, and also they come as rewards for different things that you do. So I would suggest that you really do not buy $250 for 250 scrolls, because right now I have 500 of them and I've never bought a single package for it. So, granted, I, go through and play a lot, but yeah, you can get the ×2 aspect. So if you're really I want to get every captain, certain captains you cannot get by summoning. And we'll go into that also. All right, so these resources wise, you'll notice that silver is going to basically be in every single one of them. Silver is king. You definitely need this in order to be able to create armies. You also have portals. These blue things that basically look as though you get sucked into it like a black hole. Those things are good as far as basically taking your army from one area to the next. It does not take your city, but it will take your army from one area to the next. So if you want to get someplace quick, portals is a great way to go. And then as we scroll across, there's Evolve Your Dragon, which you do get a dragon once you get to, I think, Guardsman level 2 or whatever. And then for your dragon, it'll start out as like a little baby. And then it gets to the point to where it gets really freaking huge. So as you're going through and playing and everything, your dragon will grow with you. You end up fighting epic monsters, and it takes a portion of the valor points that you get from that epic monster, and it gives it to you could give it to your dragon as food. So if I got the last battle that I just got in, I earned 57.1 billion valor points, which is a huge amount. But to players that are really high level, they're like, oh, that ain't nothing. And that's true, because they get to the point to where they're earning 1 trillion valor points in a battle, and it's just holy crap. But when you're taking a portion of that and setting it aside for your dragon and everything, you can get your dragon to where it becomes a really integral part of your army. Like very, very useful. All right, so then blueprints. Blueprints, in all honesty, is a waste to spend money through this actual sale part because you get the equivalent of 450,000 gold coins worth of blueprints in this sale when you could just go through and spend the gold on that instead of spending $250. So if I did, like, let's say dragon coins and I wanted to go through and build up my, monster army, I would be able to get like 1,000,000 and then a times two. So I have 3 million gold coins. Now I can spend 450,000 of them on the blueprints that I would have needed. And I don't have to spend nearly as much as what it would have cost me by just doing the blueprints and everything. Because you got to look at sales in order to tie them together. Like, hey, I want some of the components of this to help me with that, or some of this to help me with that. So then you got to basically strategize. You got to think, what can I do to save money to be able to actually utilize this stuff? So then as we go across, and I'm going to try and go a little faster. We have tar. You have the rare kind. You have the common kind. You have the epic level tar. All the tar and everything is very useful whenever you go to try and raid a crypt. So a crypt is basically like a cave that you go into with, your captain, and then you come out of it with either nothing, or if you've completed the entire crypt and explored it all, which usually takes 2 to 3 to 4 times of going after it, then you get a prize at the very end of it. And it might be like, I got a speed up, or I got lumber, or I got a certain type of material that will help me towards a piece of armor that I really want to do. One of the ones that I've done before that I thought was a very good buy, because I now do not have to worry about it, is tons of silver. It has a ×2 aspect, so I now have over 900 million silver that I have set aside. Build the best city is a good way in order to start on out. So if you're like starting the game and you're like, man, I do not want to have to go slow when I first start the game. I want to be able to like hit the ground running and everything. Build the best city is a good way to do it. When you do this, do not level up your hero past the level of 20. Because when you're using, like, if you get past the level or 20 and above, then you cannot get an automatic speed up, to where that automatic speed up makes it to where you do not have to wait. All you have to do is click done, and it's done. Build the best city. So build all of your farmers, all of your mansions, all of your, like all of your other buildings that you have to do, and improve it. And then this way you can basically be a guardsman level 2 or guardsman level 3 within 2 to 3 days. It is not that difficult. We have a challenge that we're currently doing for the upper level players where it's Captain Beowulf. I've gotten up to guardsman level 5, and it's only been 72 hours. So if you really want to go through and speed up, this is the sale to use in order to get there. Essence of the Immortals is basically in order to level up your captains, not like the level of fighting that they have done, but the star level, and I'll show you more about that when we go into captains later. All right, extras. Extras are kind of cool in some ways as far as like, different things that you might need to use for your game, and it's kind of like interesting. Now, decorate your hero is useless. Decorate your city is absolutely useless. If you're decorating your city, you're painting a bullseye on it, because that means that it's like, oh, look how pretty my city is. Somebody comes along like, hey, that's kind of nice. I want to mess it up. That's what they're thinking, in all honesty. This person cares too much. They need a humility lesson. More valor points. Don't ever buy valor points. And by the way, all these sales that you're seeing, the amount that it gives you depends upon your guardsman level. So like it says 7 billion right here. It is not going to offer you 7 billion if you're a guardsman level 2. Now for me, 7 billion, I can get that in less than one fight. So why in the world would I spend $250 on it? Do not buy valor points. It is stupid. Do not do it. Feed your dragon. I initially did this because I was thinking, I'm like, I don't even know how to feed my dragon, and I don't want it to starve, and it's so cute and everything. I want to get my dragon up, blah, blah, blah. And I didn't realize at the time, if you play epic monsters, that you get a portion of that as food for your dragon. Trust me, fight the epic monsters, you grow your army, and you grow your dragon at the exact same time, so that this way it makes life so much easier. Boost your experience, that is all well and good. However, do not buy it. Speed up your clan. Your clan is going to get different speed ups anyways. If you're a leader or you're an officer and everything in a clan, I completely understand why you would get this. But all you have to do is just ask your clan members, like, hey guys, who has speed ups? Like, this might be for a clan that is super high level, that has, like, different research that's taken forever. But if you're at a lower level and you're a lower level clan, you do not need this stuff. Just ignore it. All these so far you are ignoring, except for maybe the ton of silver and the build the city better. Those are the only two. All right, next one. Boost your clan. No. Don't get me wrong. I believe in going through and giving other stuff to your clan members, but you can do that in other ways where you're not spending money. This is completely unnecessary. Open portals. You'll get portals in every single package. You do not need to buy a package with it. Teleport City. This is for people that are really just dirty chicken players. I would never recommend this because of the fact that I had this one person, I kept on trying to attack them. They kept on teleporting their city all over the place. And then you got to spend time in order to be able to find it. But here's the thing. Everybody sleeps. And if I figure out that you know English, then I basically am determining that you probably live in the Western Hemisphere, which means that you're going to sleep during a certain time, and I'm going to find your city when you're probably asleep, and I'm going to destroy it. And then I'm going to destroy it again and again and again while you sleep. And you're going to wake up and you're going to be like, where did all my army go? Oh my gosh. Yeah, I killed them. Thank you. So teleport your city is useful, but you also might get these as other sale or as part of other sales where they'll sneak it into like a part of it, and it's just like, oh, I don't need that then. Invade other kingdoms. This is going to be useful when your when your kingdom is actually open to other kingdoms. For right now, it's not for most people that are starting out. But then, like, my kingdom is going to be opened up on September 23rd. At that point, we're going to get invaded from higher level kingdoms. Ouch. Because those people are not the exact same level as we are. Like, my average clan member is like main hero level 50. The average clan member of a veteran kingdom is probably 150 or 200. Depending upon the kingdom and depending upon the clan and depending upon how serious players, blah, blah, blah. But yeah, it goes up, people, and you are not the big fish. Like, we have some people in our kingdom that laugh at other people and like, ha, 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 I can do this to you and everything. It's like, ha, ha, ha. When we get invaded, I am throwing you completely under the bus. And I'm going to make friends with our enemies in order to make sure that they kill you first. And I might pay them something in order to bribe them or whatever. Like, hey, I'll send you, 20 million in silver and everything if you go kill so-and-so. All right, we got speed up marches. Don't need it. Speed up everything. This game is going to kill you with boredom. There is one aspect of this that is really, really super boring and everything. It is the part of, hey, if I'm trying to get this building to go from one level to the next level or get my research done, these things are absolute gold. And trust me, you can spend gold in order to get them, but it's just, oh my gosh, like, it'll suck your life away and everything, how much money you can spend. Here's one thing that I would highly recommend and everything, and I don't usually like to recommend that people spend money, but this sale is well worth it. The character Cleopatra. Cleopatra is a captain that has it to where every single level that you get her up, you get 1 extra % towards the strength of your entire army. Not just one component of your army, your entire army. Cleopatra is the most useful one in the game so far. There's 2 others that, depending upon if you spend the money or do the work, you can get to: Hercules and Beowulf. And we'll get into both those in other videos. All right, choose your hero. For choose your hero, this one is kind of an interesting one and something that I recommend to everyone. Choose your hero costs $49.99. You need Ulrich. This guy that's in the very center of the picture down at the bottom with the really long beard or whatever. Ulrich is good for defense because anytime that somebody attacks you, he will make it to where they take 4 hours in order to be able to attack you. Now, they can go through and use speed ups, which will lower it down. And they can use 5 speed ups in order to do it. Every single time they use a speed up, it takes it to where the time goes in half. So let's imagine 4 divided in half is 2 hours. Divided in half, 1 hour, 30 minutes, 15 minutes, 7.5 minutes. But that's still 7.5 minutes to where if you're awake and on the game, you could go through and tell your buddies, hey, come on over, reinforce my area. Or, hey, this person's just too powerful for all of us even put together. I'm going to take my army and send it someplace else so that this way they can't destroy it. That's always a good way to be able to avoid getting your butt kicked. Change your kingdom. I'll eventually get to the point to where I am going to have to change my kingdom, but not anytime soon. For that, it will teleport your entire city to a different kingdom. It costs $50, so please make sure that you are absolutely certain about the clan that you're going into before you actually get there. And ask to be able to talk to people in that clan. So once your kingdom opens up, then you could go through and you can message people in other kingdoms. And then you could be like, hey, so-and-so, I'm thinking about joining a different clan. I was looking at y'all's information. You seem kind of cool. And then try and talk to multiple people in the clan. Get an assessment as far as, is it worth it to go to that clan? Talking to people is free. $50 in order to change your location is a lot. So try and make sure that you actually know where you're going first. Change your name, don't care. Change your avatar is a good one. If you have multiple avatars, like when I was talking about Ulrich, this guy right here in the very middle, you also have this lady. She could go in between kingdoms. You have this lady right here that gives you a free gift every single 18 hours, which is actually really, really useful. And then you have other guys that have different types of characteristics. We'll get into all that later. Change your talents is kind of interesting and all. Extra pincers, that's if you're really getting high level with your gems and you want to be able to upgrade your armor to the max level. Protect your city is useful. They give you this initially as a bubble that goes around your city. And then this basically makes sure that nobody else is going to attack you for a while. Get it to the point to where you get your feet underneath of you, and then you can determine, do I want to start bubbling more or do I want to start fighting? And let me just put it to you this way. It's better that you concentrate on building your city first and then go through and worry about fighting other people later. This one sale right here is actually pretty darn well worth it. It's called Activate Watchtower. This allows you to look at anything in your kingdom and being able to find it, like whether or not it's a mine or whether or not it's a quarry for different resources, different crypts, different everything else. This sale, it only costs $4.99. It is very well worth it. All right, last part, and then I will shut up on this video. Materials is not worth it. Not a single part of this is worth it. Here's the reason why. Each one of these sales gives you only one individual material and a hell of a lot of it. Now, granted, for the rest of the game, you will have that material and everything, so you are good. But can you imagine going through and there is 60 different materials, $250, $250, $250. That's a lot of cheddar, people. No, thank you. Don't worry about the materials. They will come with time. The enchantments will also come with time. You can boost different things. Boost all army is probably the most useful one. Everything else on here, don't worry about it. Just let it come with time, people. Don't rush it. That pretty much covers the sales and what exactly you want to spend money on. Remember, there are 3 different kinds of players. Players that play for free, players that want to compete but on a budget, and then people that want to measure how big everything is. And for that, I would highly recommend that you guys basically go through and seek therapy or have it to where you establish a budget also even for that. So that this way I don't want to spend this, but I want to spend that type of thing. And don't go over that. Don't max out a credit card. Don't ruin your life. Don't empty a bank account. Don't get divorced just because of the fact that you get obsessed with measuring versus somebody else. that is all for this, video. I hope you guys go through and got a lot out of it. If you have any questions, comments, or concerns, please put it in the comments section. I will try and go through and check it, and then also go through and make other videos that really pertain to what exactly you need to know. Have a good day.